When you're in the middle of a narrative thought, instead of standing apart like in a meta way, going, okay, just calm the thoughts down, or don't push or pull on the thoughts, or just notice the thoughts. Instead of standing apart, have you ever tried to like just really zoom in to that narrative, as if like the narrative could be, when I leave retreat, I'm going to work on my yard, and then just slow that down and just like zoom into yard, the sound of yard, the sound of that narrative in the mind. Like you're just getting closer and closer and closer. Like, so there's no space made, so it's almost as if the thoughts won't propagate. So instead of moving away from the thought, moving toward the thought. So if you do the moving toward in thought, even if you're swept into the river, if you just keep moving toward like anything that's starting to formulate into a solid narrative, like really just try to move your attention into that, you might notice it doesn't actually turn into a narrative, but you will still feel the current of consciousness, and that's okay. That's often what happens when there's like a thought storm, is that the currents of consciousness are just stirred up for whatever reason. It could be a physiologic reason, could be emotional, could be hormonal, neurophysiologic, but it does. But even though there's a lot of thoughts, it doesn't mean we still can't like close that gap until the thoughts are just like kind of subsiding, and it's just more like a movement of consciousness. So I would try to move toward instead of away from, and see if that helps. Like literally right into the narrative itself, like as if you were to grab that narrative and pull yourself closer to it, or just keep the narrative like getting more singular, even down to like one word of the narrative, and just sort of reciting it really slowly until the thoughts just calm down.